They say money can make life easier, but love? Love can never be bought with money. This is the story of Simon, a man who shook the business world with his name, a millionaire at 25, a billionaire by 30. People called him the young billionaire. Investors lined up at his door, desperate to be part of his empire. But inside his heart, he was empty. He longed for someone who would love him, not his wealth. And then, Louisa entered his life. Louisa was a simple girl, doing her master's degree. Her smile was innocent, like the first ray of sunlight. Her words were so pure, it felt like she could never lie. Simon fell for her the very first time he saw her. It started with friendship, turned into endless conversations until one day, Arian finally confessed, "Louisa, I have everything in this world, but without you it all feels incomplete. Will you be mine?" Louisa smiled softly. "Simon, I don't want your money. I just want your heart. And that, I already have." That moment, Simon felt as if he had conquered the entire universe. Days turned into weeks. Simon wanted to give her every happiness in the world. Trips to Paris for dinner, vacations in Europe, surprise gifts. But Louisa always said, "Simon, these things don't matter. All I need is you," Simon believed. Maybe this was true love. Love that stood above money. But fate had other plans. Sometimes, the person we trust the most is the one who wounds us the deepest. To the world, Simon and Louisa looked like the perfect couple. Their pictures on social media got millions of likes. People said, "What a pair!" But no one knew the truth hidden behind their smiles. Simon became busier with meetings and projects. He wanted to make his empire stronger, so Louisa would never face a lack of anything. He thought, if I work hard today, I can give her a dream life tomorrow. But maybe Louisa wanted something else. Slowly, Simon noticed she was changing. Calls became shorter, texts colder. Where she once said, "I only need your presence," she now complained, "You always have time for business, but when will you have time for me?" Simon tried balancing both, but life was slipping away. Then one day the curtain was pulled back. Simon came home early from a meeting, planning to surprise her. With flowers in hand and dreams in his heart, he walked into her apartment. And there, he heard a stranger's voice. He froze. Louisa was laughing with another man. That moment, Simon's world stopped. The billionaire who had won the toughest business deals, the man who had never lost a battle, today lost the war of his own heart. Louisa saw him. Silence filled the room. Simon's eyes were screaming. "Why? Was my love not enough? Was my presence incomplete?" Louisa whispered. "Simon, you have everything, but for me, you had no time, and I need more than your wealth." The flowers slipped from his hands. His heart shattered into pieces. He said nothing, just turned and walked away. That night, Simon realized, even billions of dollars cannot buy a faithful heart. The man who had conquered the world today lost himself in love, and his tears testified that sometimes the deepest betrayal comes from the one we trust the most. After that night, Simon's life was never the same. The billionaire, once known for his charm and power, was now drowning in silence and pain. In the office, he sat quietly. Yes, profits soared, numbers rose, but to him, they meant nothing. People congratulated him. "Sir, you're now among the world's top billionaires." But Simon only thought, what's the point of this wealth when the one I built it for is gone? Days were consumed by meetings, nights by loneliness, and bottles of alcohol. Food lost its taste, sleep abandoned him, his face hollowed, his eyes sunken. He replayed that night in his mind. Louisa laughed her words, "You have everything, Simon, but not the time for me." They pierced his soul like arrows. One rainy evening, he drove to the ocean. Waves crashed violently. Raindrops lashed his face. He stood at the edge, thinking, why not end it here? If she is happy without me, maybe my existence no longer matters. But then, his father's voice echoed in his heart. "Son, life doesn't end when people betray us. Life ends when we betray ourselves." Something broke inside him, but from that brokenness, a new fire was born. He thought, if love has shattered me, I will turn this pain into strength. Simon quit drinking. He threw himself back into work, but this time with a new purpose. He embraced loneliness not as an enemy, but as his companion. Every night he promised himself, Louisa broke my heart, but I won't let her break my spirit. No one will ever hold the power to destroy me again. His determination turned his empire into a global force. Where people once said he'd collapse without her, they now called him a warrior, not just a businessman, but deep inside, the emptiness remained. Money multiplied, fame touched the skies. Yet when he sat alone by the window of his penthouse, tears still found their way down. Because truth is, money can buy everything except healing. And wounds of love are the deepest scars of all. Life knocks us down, but always gives us a choice, to stay down or to rise again. Simon chose to rise. He decided he would no longer live in the shadows of his past. He turned his pain into purpose. With his billions, he built a foundation, providing education, healthcare, and hope to underprivileged children. People now said, Simon is no longer just a billionaire, he is a heartbeat for millions. One day he met a little orphan girl, Asha. Her smile touched him deeply. She said, Uncle, maybe you're the richest man in the world, but for me, you're the kindest. Her innocent words brought tears to Simon's eyes. He realized, the richest man is not the one with the most money. The richest man is the one with the most hearts. He finally broke free from his loneliness. Yes, Louisa's betrayal was still a memory, but now it was no longer his weakness. It was his strength. He learned, love may break you, but life always gives you another chance. Looking up at the sky, Simon smiled, because he now knew his true journey was not to chase wealth, but to spread light into others' lives. In his diary, he wrote, I am Simon. Yes, I am a billionaire, but wealth is not my identity. My identity is the tears I turned into strength, the betrayal that made me human, and the journey that taught me the greatest truth of life. Even after losing love, one can still win hope. Years passed. Simon's name had become more than just a brand. He was not remembered as the billionaire businessman, but as the man who turned his wounds into light for others. But life has its own ways of testing us. One evening, at a charity event, Simon saw a familiar face. It was Louisa. Time had changed her. The same sparkle in her eyes was gone. She walked up to him, her voice trembling. Simon, I know I hurt you. I thought I wanted more. But the truth is, I lost the only man who ever truly loved me. For a moment, Simon's heart went silent. Old memories rushed back. The love, the betrayal, the nights of pain. But this time, there were no tears, only peace. He smiled gently. Louisa, maybe you were never meant to stay. You were the storm that broke me, but also the storm that taught me how to rebuild myself. Louisa lowered her eyes, tears rolling down her cheeks. Do you hate me? She asked softly. Simon shook his head. No, I don't hate you, because without your betrayal, I would have never found my true self. You were my greatest pain and my greatest teacher. Louisa had no words. She walked away quietly, and for the first time, Simon felt no burden in his heart. That night, standing by the orphanage he had built, surrounded by the children's laughter, Simon looked up at the stars and whispered, Love can break us, wealth can blind us, but only hope can truly save us. He closed his diary with a final line. I am Simon, not just a billionaire, not just a man who lost love. I am a soul who chose light over darkness, forgiveness over hatred, and hope over despair. This is my true wealth.